Hey everybody, how you doing? And today we're going to talk about the BRICS news. They're having their conference, their annual conference. It's in South Africa this time, the last day or so, and we've been waiting for big news. Was it going to be gold-backed currency? It's not that. Could that be coming? Who knows? But the big news is we had an expansion of BRICS. 6 nations joined. We're going to go through who they are and maybe why they were selected. In my opinion, what value do they add? But that's the big news. It's growing more powerful as we speak. And then we're also going to go through the first day when Putin did a video address about the status of the dollar on the as a reserve currency and its status in the world. But basically, if you want to put the bottom line up front for everybody, you got these. The old US dollar, the greenbacks. These are going to start going up in flames, becoming worth less, maybe become all the way to worthless. But definitely going to be a lot of pressure on this. Can't export a lot of our inflation anymore if the BRICS are growing. So you might want to take these that you have. Maybe you start getting some canned meats. These are sardines here. Very good. In fact, if you find them at Costco, very good. But tools, prepping tools, whatever tools you want, flashlights, whatever it may be, if you want to get some backup power for your small devices, whatever you have, you might want to start converting, like I said, this stuff before, it goes up in flames. So let's get into this here. Let's talk about Putin here. So he's talking about the de-dollarization is irreversible. And as we go through both these articles, please like, share, and comment on the video, and consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to have you join our community. So it's talking about BRICS is becoming more powerful than the G7. G7 is basically the 7 Western most powerful economies, mostly it's service economies, but let's see what Putin has to say here. He says the US dollar is losing its global role in an objective and irreversible process. Meaning there's a plan, they're doing this on purpose, and it's not going to go back. So he's killing the dollar's reserve stats. No longer to be the reserve currency, and he's pointing that out. De-dollarization is gaining momentum, he declared. That is true. We just increased BRICS by 6 people, and that's going to gain a lot of momentum to de-dollarization because they're not going to use dollars for trading anymore. And you see the world map, you're going to see how much of the world is going that way. And then he also brought out that the original 5 countries, Russia, China, India, Brazil, and South Africa, they're becoming the new world economic leaders. He said right here, adding that their cumulative share of global GDP is about 26%. And then he said in the next paragraph, he noted that if you measure it based on purchasing power, the parity of it, he says the BRICS, the original 5, have already surpassed the group of 7, the G7, accounting 31% of global economy compared to the 30% of the G7. So his eyes, it's already surpassed with this original 5. They just added 6 more. So let's take a look at that here. So Xi and Putin hailed the first expansion in over a decade of the Gulf oil powers. And that's what they're adding. They're adding, basically a lot of oil. They're adding commodities, but let's go through. We got Saudi Arabia, UAE coming in. We've got Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and Argentina. And so why were these added? Why did you select these 6? Well, let's go with the map here and check out this. And they come in January of 2024 is when they'll be full-fledged members. And remember from before, I told you there was 41 that wanted to join. They picked 6, 35 out there. It's not like they're going to just ignore those 35. No, those 35 are going to be in the trade deals. They're going to be using the new money, whatever they come up with. They'll be trading in rubles or yuan or their own currency. They're going to be part of that de-dollarization. They're not just going to be left out there. They just took the 6 first. And if you look at this, we got, with Argentina, Brazil, most of South Africa, South America, you got South Africa here, and you got a few other African nations now joining in. Very close. You got a lot of Asia, and of course Russia, and you got China over here. A lot of expansion, a lot of the world population, a lot of the world's commodities. The G7 is a lot of these countries here in white that are basically service. Would you rather have service or commodities? Paper stuff or actual stuff. So that's basically how the world is dividing right now. And let's go back here and talk about, in my opinion, why they invited each person. It's going to be quite evident when we go through this here. Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Iran, all oil, all huge oil producers. Saudi Arabia using the petrodollar. Do they get rid of it? Yeah, probably. I think they will. They'll probably start trading their own. Saudi Arabia won't require dollars. They'll probably take a lot of currencies. So those 3 are in there for their oil. Same with Egypt. They're in there for oil as well. They're also in there because they produce a ton of natural gas, gets shipped to Europe. It's going to be cold again this winter. It wasn't that bad of a winter last year. Let's see what happens this year. But Egypt, a lot of natural gas, commodities again. They also do a lot of food oils, important for, cooking foods in that part of the world. We move on to Ethiopia. This one threw me for a loop a little bit. I had to do an investigation. Why Ethiopia? Why not a bigger country? What's going on? Well, their second largest export, gold. And what does BRICS want to do? Gold-backed currency. All BRICS countries are stacking gold to the rafters. U.S., not so much. Western nations, not so much. BRICS nations, yeah, they're stacking gold. So Ethiopia produces a ton of gold. They also do a ton of coffee. It's a commodity. It's used around the world. They're going to have a hold on that now. And then finally we have Argentina, tons of food, soybeans, corn, wheat, beef, huge food producer. So, if you're in BRICS, you just added food, oil, natural gas, gold. Seems like pretty smart moves, right? So that's why I believe they picked all those. And let's continue on here. Yeah, and Putin says here, and I would like to assure all colleagues that we will continue the work that we have started today on expanding the influence of BRICS in the world. So meaning those 35 other countries that were left out, don't worry about it. We're going to keep you in here. Don't get discouraged. That's the word there. Then we have the Saudi foreign minister. He came out and said that the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, will be a secure and reliable energy provider. Meaning we're going to take care of our own first. We're not going to take care of the U.S. We're not going to take care of the West. We're going to take care of BRICS now. We are going to make sure that the BRICS are secure and have reliable energy. Huge move. Okay, huge move away from the U.S. to the BRICS. That is super key in all of this here. And let's go down here to the rise of the BRICS. This is purchasing parity. I talked about earlier. It's more in a graphical form here. But the G7's in blue, BRICS is in red. You see how it went from 95 to 2010 to now to be taken over by BRICS. Not a good trend here for the G7, right? So that's all I have for the articles, but another piece of information when we talked about the oil is the BRICS nations will now have 80% of the world's oil reserves under their trade partnership, control group, whatever you want to call it, and about 41% of production. That is huge because oil makes the world go around right now, no matter what the green people say. So they're going to have a lot of power, a lot of influence, especially on the monetary side. And what does this lead to? Well, this is going to lead to, I've always been pointing this out, this happening. Keep this in mind. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you need to know that is going to be immediate, is going to happen tomorrow, the next day, no. But it's going that way. So it gives you time to plan accordingly. Take that fiat currency, put it into gold, silver, and the other stuff I pointed out. Do what you have to do to protect yourself and your family and secure your future as well as you can. Secure your future as much as you can, because this, is all the financial talk. We've also been talking about all the World War III talk going on, which I'll have another video coming out. I'll give us a few updates on that as well. But do what you can do on this financial side. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. We'll get right to them right away for questions and all that. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.